Good morning, everybody. This is Left Look, and it's Sunday, the 12th of February. It's the Super Bowl day. Yeah, air horns. That's a good idea.
Oh, it's a Super Bowl? I thought we were going to the monster trucks.
No, Monster Jam will be a later episode. We will cover that.
Okay, all right.
Fear not.
Well, now I'm fearful. I don't know when that thing could come back.
Yeah, it's this. Oh, hang on. I'll do the thing first.
Oh.
This is Left Look, the premier independent podcast from the Gatto Institute, where we will be taking a look at Canadian and international arts, culture, and entertainment to provide you with an unbiased left-wing perspective. Il s'agit de premier podcast indépendant de l'Institut Gatto où nous nous pencherons sur les arts, la culture et le divertissement canadien et international pour vous offrir une perspective impartiale et de gauche.
Wow, that was so much nicer than usual.
I think we've been bitching at him too much lately. I thought that was kind of a dig at us.
Oh, no, I think he just wanted to spin on it.
Yeah, I'm working on my diction.
Yeah, your accent was much better.
Really putting the dick in diction.
You sure are. Julian, I don't want to be a prude.
Huh?
I don't know who I am this week.
Oh, right.
I don't know who you are this week. Who's this third person? I don't know. Who are they?
No, thank you. I'm Julian, and I'm here with my friends Jacob.
Hello, sir.
And DJ.
Hello, sir.
And we are Left Look, the podcast.
We are. We're here.
From the Gatto Institute.
Yes. New Pecherons, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Did either of you hear about Westlook?
Westlook?
What?
Yeah, Westlook.
No.
Apparently a rival review channel, a cowboy review channel.
A cowboy review channel?
Yeah, I only heard, rumors. It might start up, kind of still in development, but yeah, something to look out for.
I can't.
Might have a rival on our hands.
Man, I think I might have schizophrenia as I'm just finishing up deleting all these chats from our group chat.
Yeah,
it's got to be schizophrenia, right? Like,
no,
I couldn't say.
What do these symbols mean that I have in here? They're not English. English.
They're like a dialect, maybe.
Okay, hang on. What symbols? Let me take a look here.
They seem to be the Latin characters, but the way that they're arranged are no known language that I could think of.
Yeah, there's a triangle in there with an eyeball in it, and
oh yeah,
I think something to do with the Freemasons.
All right.
Yeah, that's weird.
Eggplant, sweat drop, peach. Who knows what that could mean?
No, I shan't.
Okay, one day I'll learn.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the balloon first, because
sure. Yeah, that whole balloon that was.
It's the super balloon today.
Oh yes, this is true. The super balloon over Super America.
Yeah.
That was what happened to the super balloon.
I think it got super destroyed.
Yeah, it did. An F-22 hit it with $1 million missile. That seems like overkill, and also a display of how inferior your plane is. Why couldn't it hit it with the cannon? With the machine gun, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know. But also, they credited the F-22 pilot with an air-to-air kill.
No.
Yes, they did. And more than that, that's the first air-to-air kill that an F-22 has ever gotten, and likely to be the only air-to-air kill that an F-22 will ever get.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Hundreds of billions of dollars, so many hours of training by your most athletic and most devoted soldiers to do ridiculous aerial tricks and probably take years off their lives just to do nothing. Do nothing.
To shoot down a super balloon.
And to do cool tricks at the Super Air Show.
It's pathetic, but it's something.
I was thinking about that. Why couldn't they just like have shot like a big gun up into the air to hit that? Like,
They literally
had
could
to be
have gotten out
cheaper.
a slingshot, right? They could have done
No,
anything.
I thought originally just like shoot any gun at it, basically,
Uh-huh.
like a 7.62, like a rifle, right? And you could
Right.
hit it. But apparently this balloon was really high up, like
Yeah.
60,000 feet.
Yeah,
and
those
I
weather
was,
balloons are stupid high.
and so apparently arc planes in Canada don't go high enough to get it, and that's why Trudeau didn't go for it. The
Oh,
CF-18s that we have.
huh.
Uh,
Yeah.
Luckily, the F-35s that we're getting, they also don't go high enough, so that's good.
I
wow.
mean, what are we going to be afraid of? Balloons in
I
our
agree.
skies.
I agree. Apparently, this happened 3 times under Trump, and nobody batted an eye because they were just like, well, they have satellites. They take probably just as good pictures, right? Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I don't understand what all the fuss is about.
I think it was because Biden wanted to look tough on China.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He asked them to shoot it down, and they were like, well, we'll do that when it's over water. That sounds like it was a Biden thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or Biden
Yeah.
cabinet. I don't think Biden's there.
Yeah,
It's hard. He's running for re-election.
he
Sounds
is
like.
running for re-election, and yeah,
He's 84?
I don't know.
80. He's 80 something. He's going to be like the oldest president running for re-election. Crazy.
Yeah,
How do you?
I honestly hope they just keep that meat suit in office. I would rather him just be like an actual corpse running the world empire than have Kamala Harris take over. So
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's um,
I bet you they switch her out this time around for Pete Buttigieg. I bet you my soul on it that she's
okay.
not on the ticket this time around.
The whole soul. You heard it here, folks. Left look prediction.
She's so
Who
unpopular.
We're gonna get
Everybody hates her.
Pete
Everybody
Buttigieg.
hates her.
I too hate her, despite not knowing her, but because I want to be cool and likable, I grr. Who's this Pete guy?
Pete is the what's
Mayor.
he, minister of, no, he was Mayor Pete from some fucking shit stained town in the south. Who cares? He's a CIA asset, and now he's the minister for transportation, I think, or something like
Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
that's an
that.
upgrade.
Secretary, they call it secretary there.
Yes, that's true. The
But
secretary. Isn't the transportation one like the fourth
yeah, he's
in
he's
line?
in line, but I think it's farther down. I think it's like sixth, because it goes president, vice president, speaker, and then it'd go secretary of defense, and then I would bet infrastructure or transportation is
Yeah, I
right there.
remember there was a Gray, a CP Gray. I always forget his name. He did a video on like who would become president if the president suddenly couldn't do that.
We're doing the plot of Lone Survivor. You ever
Uh-huh.
seen that
No,
show?
Nope.
no.
It, uh, the point is that during the State of the Union, they have one guy just like kept away who's like the Secretary of Agriculture, and during that State of the Union, the Parliament, whatever, their fucking Congress gets bombed,
Oh,
right?
great.
And so the Secretary of Agriculture or Housing or whatever he is gets put in as president, and he's got to like lead the country during this like 9/11 on steroids.
Oof,
It's
that sounds crappy.
it's a very terrible show. It's so propagandistic and very
That sucks
anti-Islamic.
because that I feel like that could make a great comedy,
Oh,
like
yeah.
a really
That is
pointed satire.
that is such a good that's such a good idea. Like, and it wouldn't even need to be like he's a goof, because he could just be like anybody, and he could
Uh-huh.
do that job a million times better than whoever gets that job based on like how the system produces whoever gets that job, right? Just some
Yeah,
random guy could probably be like, wow, they did kill JFK. I'm gonna tell people, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, or literally just being briefed on anything, and
yeah,
the gag could always be, "Why is it that way?"
yeah,
And like that would just work as a joke every time. Hey,
yeah.
why is it stupid?
And
'Cause
we could have the CIA kill him at the end of season 1, so our beautiful
yeah,
comedy doesn't get ruined by corporate over the next several seasons.
yeah, it would have to be like it would have to be a one shot.
Did either of you
Hmm.
guys watch Veep?
No.
No,
Me neither, but it's on my list.
That doesn't even sound familiar.
There's so many shows like that. What was the one with fuck. Damn it. I'm gonna forget everything about it.
Is it Parks and Rec?
No, it was a Veep-like show, but earlier, like the one just before Veep. Fuck. I'm gonna blow it. What? I'm gonna take a very roundabout way to get there. Do you guys remember 2.5 Men?
Yeah.
Not. Well,
Charlie
vaguely.
Sheen, Martin
Okay.
Sheen. Martin Sheen was the president in it. Fuck. Martin Sheen, president. I'm gonna do that.
What, does this guy need a new face cleaning routine?
Jed Bartlett was the character's name. West Wing.
Okay.
The West Wing.
Oh.
I watched a bunch of those,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people think of that as like the peak of the empire in Hollywood's imagination. If you think of like 1999 as like the peak of the empire, right? This was them imagining how things would be going forward under like an Al Gore type presidency, and the propaganda within it is so interesting, right? Like how they seem to think of themselves, right? And how they seem to be aware of their own like barbarity too. There's this one scene where Martin Sheen is doing this really rousing speech about the Roman Republic and how he wants to be respected like the Roman Republic was, how a Roman citizen could walk from one side of the world to the other without being molested because everyone knew the fury that the Roman Republic would bring down. It's just like those, those anti-civilization barbarians that, conquered and enslaved everybody around them, right? And just like stunted progress because of it. Those are who you aspire to be.
Yeah.
I so much more identify with the Greeks, right? And so when I hear the Americans identify with the Romans, and I identify them with the Romans, it disgusts me a little.
Yeah. Yeah, it should.
Yeah.
I think it should.
Yeah.
Much like the vomitorium.
The
It
whom?
should. The vomitorium. The
The House of Puke?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, the House of Puke.
Okay. I did not.
Blah.
Haven't heard that phrase before, but I'm adding that to my vocabulary.
To your lexicon.
Yeah.
Um
Vomitorium.
You've never heard of the vomitorium? Do you know what a
No.
vomitorium's for?
Throwing up.
You would eat like 30 courses and then throw up so you could eat more.
Oh,
I deleted all my bit about the football on accident. That's not
Oops.
good.
well, we're really flying by the seat of our pants here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's. So it is
Well-
Super Bowl Sunday today as we release this episode. Julian said he's going to
Yeah.
release it Sunday. I don't
Today-
believe him.
No, we're recording it on Sunday. Today is Sunday.
Oh,
Today
right.
is the Super Bowl is today.
Yeah.
I've
Super
got my
Bowl's
big
today.
funny drink hat on and my
Yeah?
huge foam finger provided
What?
graciously by the Grato Institute. Thank you.
What's your hat? What tell me about the hat.
The hat. This hat belonged to a pretty famous football player, Schmitty Watson.
Okay, yeah.
He was number one.
Oh,
He
I
was
love
number
that.
one.
I love that.
Yeah. One of the GOAT, some call him.
Yes. The goat. That funnily enough, that was the team Jimmy played for, was the Goats.
So, folks, I think it should be pretty clear by now that none of us could care in the slightest about the Super Bowl. Like, there's not a measurement of small enough that I could like the Super Bowl by less, Like, it's so uninteresting to me. But we're going to talk about it for an hour because it's just so interesting in so many ways that so many people will call stupid to me. The American sport is so obviously militaristic and so Roman in its aspect. Like, it is a war game in miniature, right? A modern war game where you send out blocking units and you try and crack the line in certain places, right? It's such an obvious poetic farce of militarism, and you use your big guys in the center, and like these white guys, they always are white guys, except for this year. Both quarterbacks are black, first time ever, I think.
Yeah.
I think calling Mahomes black is pushing it, but he identifies as black.
And that's
So
what counts.
he is light skin as hell, but whatever. Where was
It
I
takes all
going?
kinds. War game.
The quarterbacks being white, these little white dudes behind these 300-pound fucking big beefy guys, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Even that is like it's aping what the Americans think militarism is, right? What's wrong with aping? Not a good one.
No, I was just gonna say that I'm gonna put my finger on the beeper here because I feel like we're getting close to saying something we shouldn't. And then you said aping, and I started laughing.
Oh, it's not. I didn't mean. It's not racially charged in any way. I mean, imitating, I guess, is a better word.
I know.
Anyways, it like imitating how they view the hierarchy of the military, which is like this, the lone white guy calling all the shots, the lone general, right? It's so obvious, it's reductive and propagandistic. It is the circus of our modern age, and I think that's maybe not why I dislike it, though. I've always disliked it, right? And I'm only adding these layers of fucking analysis on top of that dislike.
What would you make of the coaches, the sponsors? Just another facet of capitalism pushing the military idea?
Yeah, the owners are the greatest instance of the capitalism infused with it, I would say. This is from Chapo, directly stealing, admitting.
Okay.
The owners get to lift the cup first before any of the team players. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Like before even the coaches.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
Some petty billionaires wrote that rule into their funny game.
They are so weird, so weird. The Chapo guys had actually it was just the one guy, but he had an HBO guy on. Who I don't remember what his name is, but he has a show called Game Theory, and he just discusses football, and they were discussing collective bargaining in football.
Right.
And I was like, wow, that's something I just don't think people really give a shit about, right? Because, football players, they do make a lot of money in the NFL, right? So it's hard it's hard for people to sympathize. But, football as an institution is exploitative, right? It's hard for me to care about the NFL players. If you want to talk about football writ large, right? And how it grinds young men against the fucking stone of its violence, right? Trying to produce the greatest players that it can, right? Like burning out good society members that could, otherwise do really productive jobs had they devoted their teen years to something other than bashing their heads into each other over and over again, right? Or just running really quickly for no fucking reason.
Yeah, it's always interesting too. From my knowledge, a lot of these players come from
poverty.
Like poor areas of the United States that are they're encouraged. Like, yep, your education doesn't matter. Actually, we just want you to be in sports because that's all we think you're good for.
Yeah. It's the only way out for you. Yeah, it is disgusting.
I'm glad you guys brought that up because I too was really dead set against football. Couldn't give a shit until I saw The Blind Side. And I've really come around on it since then.
You're such a piece of shit, you know that?
Why? What brings this about, Julian?
It's a great movie.
It's his favorite movie. That's why.
Second favorite
of all time. Okay, second favorite. What makes it so good?
Oh well, there's this poor young black kid who is having a really hard time in life, and then he discovers football, and his life gets way better.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And if he can do it, anybody can do it.
Anybody can do it. Could you do it?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm a fat white kid. There's no hope for me.
Oh.
He meant any black kid could do it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Any black American kid.
Yeah.
Sure. Anyways, let me pop this bad boy in reverse.
But that's what that kind of movie feeds. That is like a good fucking experience that we're supposed to feel, right? Like that this kid can be liberated through, I don't know, becoming like a gladiator for the
For a
the
white
professional managerial class, literally for a white family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, well, we didn't treat our slaves badly. That's literally how that fucking whole movie feels to me, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
I remember seeing it in theaters. And I
You
was
saw
too
it in
young at the
theaters?
time. Yeah, well, my parents wanted to see it, so I saw it.
Oh.
And I remember coming out and just thinking something was not right with that, but I am too young to put together what it was.
yeah, you know things are startling when a child goes, "That was wrong."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very interesting that it's such an ingrained part of quote unquote American society, of American culture, to have events to organize so much around the watching and the revering,
Reveling.
yes, reveling, thank you. I knew there was a part of that word I was missing. The reveling of this sport. Wow, we have to get together on the Lord's Day and watch big dudes just
I'm glad you
bruise each
brought that
other.
up because, like, there's a reason we do it, right? And it's the money and the prestige that this position
Absolutely.
holds, right? And during the Chapo thing, the fucking guy was talking about, the guest was saying that, when you decide to do this, you don't really decide because you're deciding when you're 13 or 14, and you decide to do it because you want to be able to do what these guys are doing. And right? And I was like, well, hold up. You're capping right there, my guy. I don't use the word cap.
You
But
just did. Congrats.
first time for everything.
Yeah. You can keep working on it.
But yeah, I'm gonna try. But anyways, you don't decide to do things like that, right? You are convinced that that is a way that you can get the power and the prestige that you think will lead to women at that age, right? That was A, B, and C in all of those kids' minds, right?
Yeah.
And then they were talking about how these people are not even really liberated, right? And it's like, no shit, they're not liberated. They're gladiators. They literally have to devote their entire mental being to being these things, right? And they brought up LeBron James, and LeBron James is a great example because LeBron James was there during that big fiasco when there was a Dallas Cowboys coach, I think it was, spoke out against the People's Party of China,
Right.
and James came out like a week later, being like, "Well, I think the guy spoke out of ignorance, and that he doesn't really know what he's talking about, and that we should be respectful to the People's Party of China, right?
Yeah.
Because he's got like major money deals over there, right? And so
Right.
he has to be careful, and it goes back such a long way. Michael Jordan saying Republicans buy shoes too, right, was a famous thing in the 90s, right? These people are not, free to do their own thing. They're at the complete behest of the money system that they're in. And honestly, they're trying to get their own bag, which is fine too, right? But
That's all anyone's
Yeah.
doing. That's all we're doing.
Really.
I don't think so, dude. There are things I wouldn't do for a bag. I would never say the things that Tucker Carlson says or Ben Shapiro or something like that. I could never. They don't believe what they're saying. You think they're like honestly contributing to the discourse like we are when we're
Maybe.
putting our ideas out here like that?
They might. I mean, when you rip people out of their education system and give them false hope with the promise of millions, then they're apt to believe, like, yeah, all right, I can do that. I can spread my message.
I can believe it. Yeah.
And it is really just from one system of oppression to another. And maybe that speaks a lot for our privilege, that we can look at that and say, oh, how terrible.
Yeah, and if you want to like really take it to a dark place, think about what it is on like a societal level, right? You comb through these poor minority areas so that you can make aristocrats out of the best of the the flesh that you find there. I'm trying to like make it like horses almost, right?
Yeah.
That's how it's viewed, how the system views it at least, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it is. If a kid isn't beefy enough, if a kid isn't tall enough, if a kid isn't quick enough, then okay, whatever. It doesn't matter if you want to be part of this system. You're not good enough. Get out.
And it only
Yeah.
rewards psychoticism, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
Kobe Bryant, you can listen to any interview of Kobe Bryant, and all he fucking talks about is how I work the hardest. You know, all I do is this. All I care about is this, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, my guy, that makes you a bad person, right? Like you failed at life, right?
Mm-hmm.
No
Kobe.
matter what the pleasures that you feel and things like that, you've failed at experience because you've limited yourself in such a severe way, in my opinion. You'll never have the full human experience. Plus, he died in a helicopter crash, so fuck him.
Yeah. That was
Okay.
crazy. I was in the
Whoa,
gym
whoa.
when that
Hang,
happened.
hang on. Didn't you say
Uh-huh.
last episode there was no speaking ill of the dead? Wasn't that you?
No. Neil Nisi bonum only applies to when they die. It's bad to talk ill of someone as they've just died, because
Ah,
everyone is in mourning
Mm-hmm.
usually, right? And it's seen as
It's taboo.
disrespectful.
I
It's seen
see.
as
Okay.
icky.
All right. All
Uh-huh.
right.
A faux pas.
And I don't actually hate Kobe all that much. You know, I love. I learned a lot of moves from Kobe growing up as a big basketball player growing up,
Mm-hmm.
and but you know, am I gonna make Kobe my role model? You know, pretty misogynistic, right? Like just psychopathically devoted to like something that doesn't help human flourishing in any way,
Mm-hmm.
shape, or form. It's not a good role model to have. You
I
know what
don't
I
know.
mean?
He probably got a couple of kids off the couch.
Yeah.
Maybe.
What?
Probably. An inspiration is inspiration, and
Yeah, I don't think he's all bad. I don't think anybody's.
No, he's not bad. I wasn't saying that, but he's not a good role model either, right?
yeah,
All right.
yeah. I
Who is a good
mean,
role model though? Out of curiosity.
Super Mario.
Carl Sagan.
Okay. Weird take, Jacob, but all right.
I like Carl Sagan.
All right. That's the
Noam
billions and
Chomsky.
billions guy, right?
What?
Billions and billions of
Yes, that guy.
particles. Okay.
That's a very good
That was
impression.
that was not bad.
No, I've only heard the recording once.
Uh, the best one was Flatland. You ever
Oh,
heard of the Flatland
no.
episode? He does this extended bit about aliens and how they might view us, and right, and it was like,
Uh-huh.
well, if they have four-dimensional technology, we cannot even imagine that. So imagine instead a two-dimensional world where
Uh-huh.
it's really good. It's a really good analogy. It's very famous on the internet. It's been mocked a bunch of times.
I feel like I watched there's an episode of one of my favorite shows that now that you're explaining this, the entire episode is just that that whole flat world theory, which is good to know. Maybe I'll look
Yeah.
into that and gain some new perspective.
An
But
apple falls through flatland at one point, and you can only
uh-huh.
see the apple through a cross section, and you know it's skinny, and then it's fat, and it's skinny again. It's like,
Yeah,
how would the circles perceive that? It's the same as how we would perceive a four-dimensional object in three-dimensionality. Pretty cool.
yeah, shit's bonkers.
Yeah.
Physics is crazy. Speaking of physics,
But anyways, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, football uses physics by
Yeah.
when the people throw the ball
Oh,
down the field
yeah.
and someone gets hit
Huh?
trying to catch the ball.
That's actually adds to my martial analogy about football. It's like you have the initiative if you have the thing that you can throw in the air. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, yeah,
If
you've
you
got
have the air power,
yeah, if you've got
so
the
you've got the offensive then. Yeah.
yeah, the firepower. That's the word I'm looking for. The artillery support.
I
It's
did want to
really
add.
air.
I think the coolest part of football is the football itself.
Okay,
Why is
what
that?
is cool
A
about it? Yeah.
non-spherical ball. Very cool.
Ye- That does have some perks. I gotta wonder, is it still a ball at that point?
Ooh.
Should we should we give it that kind of prestige?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I mean,
Is a ball a circle, or what is a ball? I guess would be my.
well, yeah, every other ball is a circle.
Well, I think a ball is just
A sphere, I should say. We're not
a
flatlanders.
sphere. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it isn't a ball.
Yeah, because right, I think we can all agree that a frisbee is not a ball, right?
We're there.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
do we? This is one of those. This is one of those 3 by 3 grids where, like, ball purist,
Oh.
like form purist,
Yeah.
uh, versus like use purist.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, a frisbee could be a ball because it is an object that is thrown and used in sports.
Yeah.
It's like that meme about Greek philosophy. It's like this is how Greek philosophers used to do physics.
Mm,
Uh, a car has windows, but a house has windows. So it
hmm
isn't the windows that makes the car go. It's
hmm
something else entirely.
I wonder what.
I fucking love that because that is exactly what ancient Greek philosophy is for like a lot of it. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
a lot
Well,
of it.
it worked. It worked some of the time, right?
Yeah.
No,
Right?
Works for
no.
them.
They only teach it because it's supposed to teach you about how people's like the architecture of people's minds are in their
Mm,
brute form, right? How we all search for an origin of things, and we search for difference and similarity and things like that, identity,
mm.
a bunch of myths and constants that are, the result of language or have been imposed on language. Pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Mm,
But
yeah.
really, just read French philosophy if you want to learn about that shit. You don't need to read Greeks fucking putting around with fucking, is everything made of water? No, it isn't.
Oh,
Like,
come on. It's just such a fun narrative, you know?
yeah,
Those silly little Greeks thinking Zeus was real.
all the best Greek philosophers, none of the Greeks liked them. Like Heraclitus and Diogenes, they're all
Hmm
very Eastern. Uh, Heraclitus is my favorite comment by him is he has a quote that he shares with Pocahontas. The
hmm
thing I like most about rivers is you can never step in the same river twice. Heraclitus and Pocahontas.
Wow. That's so deep. Much like this river. Um,
Anyways,
uh,
football.
Football,
Football.
is it a
Football.
ball? Is it? What's your take?
I'm gonna.
Ball or not ball?
I leave a comment.
Yeah, leave
Leave
a
a
comment
comment.
on your choice. I'm gonna go with, I guess it's a ball because you throw it and it's a
Inflated.
sport thing and it's inflated. Yeah, it has volume to it.
Yeah.
I think
It's
I
an
think personally
inflated
I draw
bladder.
the line at a disc.
Yeah. I gotta
What,
say it's a
I don't know
ball.
why the frisbee thing has come up over and over again. Sorry, Julian. Go ahead.
I think a football has to be a ball because if football isn't a ball, then why is it called a football? That would just trip me up too
Checkmate.
hard.
Checkmate.
Yeah,
And the
that's
frisbee,
true.
I am gonna start considering a frisbee a ball now, just to just to spice my life up.
It is circular, right? It's
Yep.
like the two-dimensional ball. Um, what's your take on javelins?
The missile.
The sporting equipment,
Uh,
the precursor to the missile, if
Is
you
it a
will.
ball? Is that the question?
Is it a ball? Yeah.
it's not a ball, but listen to this. So
Okay.
back in like the 60s, some guy threw a javelin so far
hmm
that they had to make the javelin heavier, right?
Oh
And
yeah, yeah. I had heard about that.
if we assume that this pattern continues, the javelin will have to become heavier and heavier. And
Uh-huh.
following this logic, right, it has to become a sphere, in my opinion. So the javelin will become a ball eventually. And
Uh-huh.
so we may consider it at this point in time a ball.
Okay.
QED.
I hate to break it to you, hammer throw is already a sport.
But that's not a ball.
It
That's
is a
that's
ball.
a set weight.
True, it's a very heavy ball,
That's
but
yeah. Why is it called hammer throw if it's a ball? Oh, we're
maybe javelin will turn into hammer throw and it'll be an actual hammer, and hammer throw will turn into something that makes way more sense.
This is turning out to be a really philosophical episode.
True. Thanks, football, I guess. Not.
Yes.
Um, does anybody actually know who's playing?
Yeah,
I know.
the
No.
I know
Chiefs
there's.
and someone
Okay.
else.
Who?
So like one
Kansas City
racist
Chiefs?
team versus.
Oh yeah, I guess that's terrible. Let's talk about that for a bit.
Yeah, that's a very common theming in
The
sports.
Eagles.
Okay, the Eagles. That's an animal. Cool.
Yeah, I don't know where they're from. I thought I did.
Cincinnati. Let's just guess. Who cares?
Yeah, honestly, I don't. Um, yeah, why is this there? Didn't I thought they changed all that shit recently? The
There was a
Chiefs.
big
That was
stink
the
in
Redskins.
baseball. Yeah.
Right, right, Cleveland.
But
Yes.
Chiefs is a
Indians.
compliment, so
I mean,
don't
yeah,
know
I
what
guess
they're
the
upset
word chief, right? That's just Germanic. That's like
They've got
I'm sh
no, they've got a stone arrowhead as their
yeah, right. I was just about to say I'm sure they have made it
yeah.
pretty unrelated to that, but I don't think the word itself, like they could get off just going like, okay, oops, teehee, we'll change.
In argument, really, chief is like a ubiquitous thing throughout humanity, and it's like
Yeah.
our common state. Honestly, that
Hmm.
they're ceremonial roles that you're placed in charge of. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, so they're gonna face off on Sunday, later today,
later today, yes, thank you.
and they're gonna who's gonna win? Does it matter?
My money's on the
No.
Chiefs.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm betting on the Chiefs as well.
Put
Okay, I guess I'm-
$1,000 down. Sorry.
Wow. All right. There's got to be so much money being changed hands in this
Mhm.
game. That's
Less
wow.
and less every year. The Super Bowl. I love this fact. The Super
Hmm.
Bowl reached its height in viewership about 5-10 years ago and has been on the
Right.
decline ever since, and will be
Yeah.
on the decline. Right? There's less people playing. It
Hmm.
isn't becoming an international sport.
No.
Right? Gen Zers or whatever, Gen Alphas, whatever we're on, they are just
Hmm.
destroyed by their iPads. They don't want anything to do with your fucking violent
Yeah.
sport.
Yeah.
Right?
They
want
only want to
F1.
play Apex Legends. Julian, put a pin in that for a minute. They don't
Copy.
they don't want F1, but they do want something, and that's easy gratification.
No, they've been over gratified. I I love the take that they're all these asexual people and non-binary people that are coming out right now because
Hmm.
they've just been over porned in their come up. They're like, I've seen it all now, and so I want none of it. In
Yes.
fact, I'm more mature than you are by several hundred years based on the experiences I've had. Is how they think of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they really are that meme of like the ESW pushing along the old lady. Just like, okay, grandma, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
We're the grandmas already, eh? That sucks.
yeah, really, it sucks, but my hips aren't getting any better.
Well, I feel great except for my back.
Oh, I'm getting a CPAP machine. How about that for health failures?
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
I don't even know
Severe
what that
sleep
is.
apnea.
Oh, hey,
yeah.
I just have chronic insomnia, but my guy, that
Yeah.
sucks.
I thought I was sleeping fine. And then somebody
What changed?
I did a sleep study. They wired me up, and they're like, "No,
Uh-huh.
you sleep like shit. How are you functioning?"
Huh.
I was like, "Oh, okay."
I sleep like shit. I know I
Man,
do.
that's got to be so nice just thinking you sleep. Yeah, like I'm with Jacob. I know every instance. I'm aware constantly of how poorly I sleep. It
mean,
sucks.
It
When I
was
wake up
nice.
and when I wake up with the flop sweats at 4 a.m., I don't think, "Wow, what a nice fucking sleep I just had." Like,
That's the first time I've heard the word flop sweat used that way.
what else way can I use
Surprise.
it?
Normally, like if you get on stage and you're bombing, you develop a flop sweat.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I mean,
Oh, is
yeah,
that what
no,
that means?
it
honestly-
works in both contexts.
yeah.
I had never really looked into the word. I always just thought it just meant a lot of sweat. Maybe I'm misusing the word entirely. I'm gonna look it up.
Okay.
Today we learned something new on Left Look.
Yeah.
Surprise! This Sunday special is all about learning
Learning and accountability.
and accountability.
Becoming
Speaking
better.
of accounts, yeah, we were doing bets, and
Yeah.
the football industry is tanking.
I was
Which-
using it correctly. It's an anxiety sweat, and it is anxiety. That's why I have the crazy sweats. No, I was
you know-
obviously using it wrong and only ended up being right by accident.
That goes hand in hand because often insomniatic episodes are brought on by anxiety. So the more you know. Everyone's right today, which is great.
Yeah.
But yeah,
What are you anxious about, DJ? What's keeping you up at night?
oh, the horrors, the constant horrors, the
The horrors of consciousness? Like what?
oh, the voices.
The voices.
Yeah, the voices of the damned.
Are they saying anything cool?
Oh, they say so much cool shit, and I will never measure up to them.
Oh man.
And that's what keeps me up at night.
Yeah.
They said all the cool things. There's nothing left for me. Why bother?
Honestly, that is my that's my unironic take about most art. It's all been done well already. Just like
Yeah.
only give me the old good stuff. I want nothing new.
It is a constant. It is a thing. It is a thing. Yep, it sure exists. And wow,
It gets more legitimate every day that goes by.
Not every day, my friend. Every second the internet exists, it gets more relevant.
No, I'll agree
Every
with you
post.
guys. I'll agree with you guys after the 5th Avatar comes out.
All right.
10 or
did
15
you hear...
years ago, if we had put out that fucking idea, like seriously, that there's nothing new under the sun, that art is dead or things like that, the entire academic world would have rejected us unanimously.
No,
right?
disagree.
Well, like almost all of it. Yeah, I'm gonna go with.
Okay.
Now it's like becoming almost a minority dominant position that like it's all been done. We've finished culture. We've got nothing else to do. You know what I mean?
Unless we have another Dutch golden era, then my hopes aren't up.
So, DJ mentioned what his football outfit is. Jacob, are you wearing anything special for the game?
Oh, I have the house to myself. I'm going to wear nothing, I think, for that day.
Okay.
Oh, birthday
For
suit.
today, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Risque.
Yeah, that's fair. All right.
My dad gets together with his high school buddies to watch the Super Bowl. I think that's cute.
That is cute. And there's something to be said about an event that brings people together, but I think it could literally be any event better than the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's just that our society is so empty of fucking traditions and rituals like that we have to graft onto something that's soulless as, like an extended commercial fucking
You know what?
marathon.
Personally, I blame Catholicism. This is all Catholicism's fault. If we had kept our beautiful pagan traditions, think of all the fun community events we'd still have.
They'd fumbled that. No, I think that's a bad take. You got most historians of philosophy think that some kind of universalist belief like that was necessary for the critical mass of people that we reached, and that critical mass of people is necessary for the technological leaps that we made.
I think that's kind of a bias because that's what happened.
Return to monk is what you want though. So
no, I'm just saying pagans had good holidays. That's all I'm saying. I just want to dance around a maple.
They also
What's wrong
had
with that?
internecine warfare. You know what I mean? Like, we do this where we I don't know, idolize the past, the return to nature, but like the time you're talking about headhunting and like keeping the heads that you had hunted really pristine and intact was the dominant social form in all of Europe, right? Like, that's crazy.
It's crazy, but you know what isn't crazy is dancing around a maypole at the summer solstice.
Just wants a Saturnalia. He just wants to be able to, be the master for a day while the masters are the servants.
I just want to have a big dinner and then frolic.
You can do that.
Why
with
do
the
we
Super
need to
Bowl
be
Sunday.
pagan? Yeah. Why can't we make like a humanist religion where you just, make up feast days like that? And I don't know.
Go for it.
What about Goethe's feast day and Shakespeare's feast day? And we just, assign random cultural figures like that and just give them a day. And
Sure.
That's a
Yeah,
good
recite
idea.
Shakespeare, like put on a little performance, and
No,
then
no, there's no
all right, well,
expectation that you do anything intellectual, or else there'll be no buy-in. It has to replicate the Super Bowl, right?
oh, oof, no, I was trying to get away from the Super Bowl, but
Let's
Well,
have
um,
let's have fighter
like
planes fly overhead day.
Julian, don't you have a great alternative for the Super Bowl? Don't you have a great alternative sport that
Oh
would be
my god.
wonderful and unite people across the land?
wait,
Yes.
no, let's talk about the fighter planes before we do the fucking
No, no,
F1.
this is way better than fighter planes. Julian.
I,
Yeah, these are
all
fighter
right.
planes on the ground.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
That is true. That is what they are.
Big news in Formula One this year.
Isn't Red Bull the best Formula One team now?
Red Bull has won the last 2 years by cheating.
What, really? Is that
Yeah.
the news?
Fuck
Isn't
them.
I gotta
What were they doing?
I gotta come in here and say, isn't cheating part of the game though?
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
In 2021, they went over their budget cap pretty severely
Oh, shocking.
in building the 2022 car. So that's how they cheated last year. The year before that, 2021.
So they're accountants. They're like they amortize the costs over several years.
Yeah,
That's
I
their
don't know.
big scandal.
I don't
That's
know what they
fucking
did, but they
hilarious.
did cheat the budget constraint somehow.
All right.
In 2021, I mean, they did kind of deserve it. I'll give it up to them. It came down to the final lap of the final race, and somebody made a very bad call in the decision booths, like an incorrect against the rules of the sport kind of call, and basically handed Red Bull the win. But whatever, it came down to the final race, so I can't be that mad about it. But no, F1, sport of the future. If you
Sport of the
haven't seen-
people.
sport. Well,
It's a sport that's been
sport
around
of the
for,
of the of the elite.
yeah,
It is an elitist sport. Everyone in there is a millionaire, a trust fund baby. I don't know how you could think it's a sport of the future. It's been around for so long. It's been given such a long chance, many chances to
that's-
catch on.
That's part of the appeal.
Yeah, if we're gonna if we're gonna idolize a sport where there's life-threatening danger to people, why not have the life-threatening danger be to
Yeah,
those people, the
exactly.
ones that are icky?
And there are a couple of like really poor kids that got picked up by billionaires and put in cars. So there are some
Into the
inspiring stories.
dangerous spot.
Yeah,
So
well,
we've
they
got-
want to be
so-
there. So
We've got the blind side Formula One. That sounds slightly more dangerous.
yeah, but
Not
no,
because
definitely
they're
the sport of the
minorities,
future.
but because the blind side sounds like a car crash.
That's true. Definitely the sport of the future, though. Netflix has proven that beyond
Why?
a shadow of a doubt.
How?
They've been filming like nonstop within F1 since 2018.
Do you mean at the races and whatnot when you say that?
At the races, they do interviews off the track as well.
Right.
They've been putting out the series for 4 years now. I think the 5th one's coming out in March, called Drive to Survive. Huge
What
numbers.
is that, like a docu-series?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. They really focus in on the like inter-team drama and
Oh.
intrigue.
So like RuPaul.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's something I could get behind.
What?
Yo,
Like-
speaking of RuPaul, that there's a member of Congress, George Santos. You heard of this guy?
Oh,
The
yeah.
liar. Apparently he was doing drag and he's been denying it. But I saw this TikTok where someone before the drag news came out, like a day before the drag news came out, someone went up to him and went, Mr. Santos, do you have any opinions on who will win RuPaul's Drag Race this year? And he turned and he looked at them with such a gaze that I should have known right away, then and there, that he was a drag queen at some point, right?
That's
But like the next day it comes out, like these pictures where they overlap two different pictures of him, and they're like, this is him. It has to be him, right?
98% match.
Yeah.
Computer enhance.
Yes.
Sorry.
Analyzed.
You were going. DJ.
I was just gonna say, like, as a Super Bowl alternative, yeah, why not just have a big drag competition? That's what the
halftime show is, right? Isn't Lady Gaga? Who's performing this year?
That's a
it's
good question.
Rihanna, isn't it?
Who is performing?
Rihanna?
Better
I'm
not
pretty
be
sure it's Rihanna this year. Rihanna and some dude.
I'm Googling because I really don't want it to be Rihanna.
there's no monoculture anymore, right? Nobody gives a shit. Like, I'm not like, the only reason I would have cared before is because everyone would have been talking about it before.
Right.
Nope. Nobody talks about it anymore.
Yeah. Nobody in our sphere.
The Janet Jackson fucking thing, like that crossed all political levels because of how, egregious it was for the norms at the time, and also the reach that it originally had.
Is she the one that got her titties out?
Yeah, she did it purposely too. It came out years later.
That's crazy.
Good for her.
Yeah, it destroyed her career. I don't know why she would have done that.
It shouldn't have.
It shouldn't have. And Timberlake was in on it. I think it was Timberlake, right? That doesn't matter.
Who knows? Probably. That checks out. What were you saying, Julian?
Formula One.
Yeah, I have other reasons why Formula One is the sport of the future.
Sure.
For the longest time, there was only one race in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Austin. Last year there was 2.
Austin, Texas. Wow.
Yep. Austin and Miami. This year there's going to be 3.
Whoa.
Austin, Miami, and Las Vegas.
Oof.
And I am just very excited to see that track.
Would you say you're revved up?
I am revved up.
I'm worried about, from an ecological perspective, Formula One as an invasive species, right? Because to take over the driving audience of the South, it'll have to compete with the lesser life forms that are the NASCAR audience members, right?
The left turners.
Yeah, the left turners, right? And
people.
So what happens when the left turners have to compete with the Formula Oneers? I feel like you're just going out to genocide these people, Julian.
I think there can be a relationship, a growth that benefits both species.
Yeah.
Species.
I feel like there is already. Some drivers already jump between the sports.
Yeah, maybe the NASCAR drivers could learn to, drive in a figure eight instead, get both turns in there. And Formula One drivers could drive cars that don't look stupid. Hey. And everyone would be happy. I think personally, this is my take, my spin on things. I think both sports, quote unquote, both sports should really invest in way more banana peels on the track. That would make things so much more exciting.
Actually, it's funny you say that because there is a very small group of people who are pushing for
Mario Kart?
What do they call it? No. Like track sprinklers.
Okay.
What?
Yeah. Because they race in the rain. Like if it starts raining, the race continues. And some people think, hey, like we should be able to make it rain anytime.
Yeah, okay.
Why?
I mean, have a race where the track conditions are as such.
Yeah.
Let's just waste this water. Okay.
I mean,
that's not a waste. That's a good investment.
That's a waste.
No.
Is it more of a waste than, watering the turf at the Super Bowl stadium?
No.
The rain is like a big thing in the Formula One because they got to decide which tires they're going to put on.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that should explain to you why that sport is never going to be the next big thing because they got to think about what tires match the weather.
Yeah, there's infinite strategic depth. It's like baseball almost. Baseball at 300 kilometers
It is a
an hour.
lot like baseball, a dying old sport that is really boring. I wanted to talk about the violence of football on the closeout here.
For sure.
If you're done on Formula One.
Yeah, I think I made my point.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pulling into pet.
I was gonna say I was gonna do this bit about how football is obviously too violent and it should just be fucking illegal, right? Like that's my stance.
How many concussions a year does football produce?
How many other crimes does those concussions produce, right?
Mm-hmm.
Down the line that is untraceable, right?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous in my mind. And also, it's not actual violence, right? Like, if you want to learn to do violence, go join the military and, learn what violence is. It isn't fun. It isn't glorified, right? It's hunting men, and it's, dirty, fucking, shitty work.
Yeah.
Why would you want to fucking glorify that in any way, shape, or form? But, sport is, what I've come the bit has come to be is that sport is becoming more violence glorifying, right? Like the rise of the UFC is,
Yeah.
in my mind, the apotheosis of that, right? Like that, boxing is and the UFC are probably a better dialogue between the two, but football works as well, right? That it became this professionalized thing, right? It starts out gritty and under town and kind of working class, but it becomes this professionalized, liberalized, managed kind of affair, right? Almost like a gentleman's war, right? Like, but as the Americans enter their imperial age, they become more brutal, more fucking
Savage.
base, yeah, more savage, right? And they demand more blood in their sport. And the UFC is just like the answer to that, right? Like,
It really is just, the parallel between UFC and gladiator fights
Yeah.
it's right there. You don't have to look too deep.
yeah, it's not only there, but if you look at like the economics of the Roman world, right? Like the wealth that the Americans are experiencing in concentrations that they're experiencing, and then at the same time they're experiencing this need for blood sport. It like one for one matches up with the end of the Roman Republic, right? Like it's not rhyming history. It's just like the same history because they modeled their government out after Rome, right? The Federalist Papers are all signed by a guy named Publius, right? Which is this great consul of Rome, right? They are all they
Get
they
your
want
laughs
the
out,
Rome
Julia.
thing.
His name's Publius.
Yeah, there you go.
Why is that funny?
Oh, he's got poo in the name. Come on. Is this Winnie the Publius?
Publius
Roman's
Maximus.
Romans also dug chariot racing, just saying.
I was
Chariot
gonna.
racing is dope, but the
Yeah.
Greeks invented chariot racing and they dug it more. So
Well, that's just another point for Formula One as far as I'm concerned.
The so football violent, bad. You were just drawing a parallel between football and UFC, just being
Well-
these hyper violent sports we watch for fun, which is awful.
the disdain that I had for I was going to do this bit about how football should be illegal and how it was too violent for even like the most violent president that I could name, Teddy Roosevelt, and I was going to do that extended bit about him.
Right.
But then I was like, fuck it, right? Like I can't make the plea to people anymore, right? That time has passed. They are more blood crazed today than they were in the time where you could have made the argument that this is disgusting and shouldn't go on, right?
Yeah, it's. I don't know. It feels like maybe it's almost inevitable, which is sad that there's always this craving of a in a culture like this that it's just like, yeah, more violence. Yes,
It's not
this is
inevitable.
great.
It's economic. It is economic. It is the result of the disparities in capital, right? Like the men who are dominating the UFC right now are all from Dagestan, right? And Dagestan is this little hill country in Russia, right, where it's all majority Muslim men, right? So they're hill men, right, which who are poor Russian Muslim hill men.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of a more Roman fucking way to fucking collect gladiators, right? Like,
Yeah.
They
Pinching
literally
them from the corners of the earth.
yeah. We need to find the martial races in the hills because the hill people are always the best at fighting, right?
Yes. Yeah. The barbarians will fight nicely.
Exactly. The Thracian will do well, but the Gaul might not do. Right? Like, it's so crazy. Right?
Yeah.
And the big thing for a long time was the Brazilians. The Brazilians are so good at fighting, and I originally thought that of the same thing. Like, oh, the Gaul might do well in them, right? It's so.
Yeah.
It's jarring almost, you know what I mean?
It is.
And
Yeah.
the man who runs it, Dana White, there couldn't be a more Roman man, a more expression of a Roman in society, right? Just
Yeah.
such a corrupt and evil and money hungry man. He slapped his wife in public. He got charged for that. Just like
Yeah.
in so many ways a reprehensible character, right? Is trying to stiff his fighters all the time so he can continue to collect just ungodly wealth, right?
Right. I'm
Yeah.
envisioning this dude wearing golden laurels and sprawled out on a golden chaise lounge and being
Yeah.
fed grapes by his servants and fanned with palm leaves.
He's squat and stolid and white and bald, right? He looks exactly like the idea of a senator from
Yeah.
American TV in the
Yeah.
60s. You know what I mean? Like
One of those characters from like an Asterix.
yeah,
Okay.
like from like I don't know, Caligula, or from the Caesar with
Right.
what's the actor, Charlton Heston.
Right. Right.
Like from that era is what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I getcha.
Yeah.
But yeah, football bad. But
UFC worse.
go Eagles.
Formula One good. Summer is coming.
Formula One good.